now, put a drink down, wake up in the morning and do it all out.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Quick Cooks. On today's episode, I'll be showing you how to make a simple pasta right in your home or apartment kitchen for maybe 1 or 2 people. We're going to be needing simple ingredients, just tomatoes, some sugar, salt, semolina flour for the pasta, and water. This recipe is great because of how little ingredients you need, but also how delicious it is and how you can make it almost at any time. So for me, it's a Thursday and I just finished some work and I'm hungry. I had a pretty good breakfast, so I kind of skipped over lunch, so I'm looking for a nice dinner to round out the day. It's 7:34 p.m. for right now, and I expect this dish to take around hour 30, so we'll see how we do. My kitchen's a mess right now, so I also have to clean and cook at the same time, but that's usual. Okay, let's start.
If you ain't about now, what you want about? Wake the fuck up and put the shot down. I smoke now,
So,
put a drink down.
With this recipe, I think it's best to start with boiling your water. I always think it's just good to always have boiling water going. So boiling water, we're going to use this for 2 things. We're going to use it for our tomatoes because I read somewhere that boiling your tomatoes and then throwing them onto cold water lets you peel the tomatoes a lot quicker. So we're going to try that out. Water is boiling. I think. There's a lid on it. Okay, put a lid on it. Okay, usually I have TVP that I was going to throw in here. I don't. I might try some tofu. Who knows? Maybe we'll keep it simple. You're going to want to take all your tomatoes. So for me to make one good tomato pasta sauce, I'm taking out all of my tomatoes. I don't really count them, but I have 8 here. So I'm going to use all 8. And they're not very large tomatoes. That's my hand for comparison. So they're not very large. I know some stores have really large tomatoes, so depending on your tomatoes, measurements might be different. But I can fit like 3 in one hand, so I can fit 3 tomatoes in one hand. Maybe that will help. Okay. So what you're going to do is really just slice like an X over the tomato. So here's the butt and here's the head. So you're going to have an X right here. So I'll be doing that. You kind of need a sharp knife for this. So make sure you sharpen your knives. I do want to make a knife sharpening video soon. I think sharpening knives is important. So you can do this while your water's boiling because you're going to want to throw it in. And I've made this recipe without peeling the tomatoes. And it may seem like this is kind of hassle to do all this work just to get the skin off a tomato. There might be better ways to do it. If you do know them, let me know. But it is worth to peel them. I do think it's worth it. I think the peel just adds this texture that I don't really enjoy in my pasta. So I do peel them. And you can cut pretty deep into the tomato. You don't really need to be too gentle because you're going to mash these tomatoes anyways, and you're going to cut them up anyways. So you're really just adding those slits on the tomato so that it's easier to peel and they'll come off easier. So I'm also checking the water, make sure. Okay. So here I have 8 8 tomatoes completely peeled. I'm gonna have this bowl on standby. You want a large bowl like this because we're gonna fill this bowl with water and then we're gonna throw the tomatoes into the bowl, and that's what's going to I think the expansion and the sudden contraction allows the peels to come off. So while the water's still boiling, we can't really do too much, and I'm only going to add the cold water from my sink right before I need to put the tomatoes in, because I don't want any of the cold water to warm up. You really do want it like tap cold. I found it works best. But no worries, in the meantime, this is when you can start on your flour. So I have semolina flour. We just had a big snowstorm here in Virginia. So I stocked up on some flour because I got 2 bags, so not really too much. Really just for one person, 1 bag is enough. But if you're a baller, you can get 2. And it's superb for pasta, and exactly it is. I've heard people do this with all-purpose flour. I've never done it with all-purpose flour. I can't really speak on how well it works, but I like semolina flour. I think it's really, every single time I eat with it, it's really good. So I only have good things to say about it. And I think I'm going to add tofu to this recipe. So we'll also need to do that with the tofu. Okay. I'm gonna look up the recipe for pasta. Okay. I tried my best to find a recipe. I kind of give up. I'm not really sure what recipe we're gonna do. I feel like it's a 1-to-2 ratio of flour to water. I think you want a little bit less water. In my experience, I feel like you just want a little bit less than half of your flour's water. That goes for bread, and I think it's gonna go for this. So I don't have any recipe. But if I did have a recipe, let's say, we'll do 1 cup of semolina flour. Okay, not quite 1 cup, but almost 1 cup. You can see I don't even know. You know why I don't think it really matters to measure is because you're going to just dump this flour onto the counter anyways. I'll show you. So I have two things going on right now. I have the water boiling, and I'm about to make some flour. I'm going to just simply dump this cup of flour here and then add water. Since it's about a cup of semolina flour, I think I'll add right around half a cup of water, maybe a little less. This is going well. You can see how it's about to boil. It's steaming now, so I think I'm going to keep watching it. It's changing phases. So I'm going to keep watching it, and then once it starts boiling, I'll fill up this thing. I'll fill that up with water.
Wake up in the morning and do it all out, all out. If you ain't about now, what
So my
you
counter's a
want
little dirty, I'm
about?
gonna wash it real quick.
Fuck up and put the shot down. They put me with the best, dripping without the sweat.
I always like to have a little bit of all-purpose flour when I'm working with dough because it's just good to prep the surface, and when you're rolling it out and prepping, it's always good to have on hand. So I'm just gonna have this bag of all-purpose flour out onto the side. While I'm doing this work, you may see me throw it right on this surface area. I'll try to show it. So I'll just simply dump this out. I've actually never done this method before. Usually I do it in a bowl first, but let's try something new. Okay, I have half a cup here. I'm just going to throw some water in there. So you can see how I didn't fill this half cup all the way. This is intentional. I don't think I need too much water. So it just ends in here. Oh God! It spilled everywhere, the water. This is why you do it in a bowl first. Jeez. You can see how crappy the dough is looking right now. It just doesn't look good. And I spilled water everywhere. Jeez. But if you keep working at it, it does get better. Oh! The pot's boiling. The nice thing about water is I think there's there's a term for it, but there's a limit of how hot the water can get. There's a physical term for that. And I think it's the boiling point's like what, 180 degrees or something? So that boiling point is constant, you know, the water will boil at that point. But so what happens to the rest of the heat, you know? What happens to that heat? And it's interesting because it's the steam. The rest of the heat goes to the steam. And the steam has potential energy of that heat. You know, it can get really hot really quickly, but you don't really feel a lot of it. Unless, there's some physics to this, I know. Okay, so I didn't add that much water, and it's looking pretty good. So you really don't need that much water. It's really just like half of what you put in the pasta. And even if it spills away, that's okay. Because a lot of mine spilled away, and I still had enough water. So never worry about the water amount. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the tomatoes into this pot, and I'm going to fill this up with water. So this is filled up with water now. The dough is allowed to just sit there. We're going to let it proof right on the counter. And we're going to let this boil for a couple of seconds, not too long. Of course, my kitchen's dirty. So we're gonna, I like to just, I don't really have a thought about this. I just kind of let it come up to a boil again. And once it comes up to boiling, then we're going to plunge it in here. We'll start peeling it. So I actually put the dough in a bowl and I put a kitchen rag over it. I think it'll be fine that way. Okay, so I think this is pretty good. I can see it's already bubbling, so I think I'm gonna take them off now. And I can already see the skin peeling in this cold water, so this is a really good sign. It's gonna be easy. Ooh, hot. Okay. So I learned about this thing called EV on the camera. It apparently makes, it's called something, something, something. It stands for something. It's pretty much just how much light does your shutter exposure allow. So I turned it down, and it's made the set a lot easier because I have these really bright overhead lights that I think in the first episode really was visible. And it made everything really illuminate in the background. So by turning off the EV down to 0, it was on 3, so it was really bright. So I'm liking this a lot because it allows me to have the overhead lights too, which I kind of like for cooking. So this is really nice. And I like to keep my pots just boiling or steaming like this because I think it's good for the humidity of the room. It's winter time. Okay. I was going out also to the store. Busted my ass multiple times. It was so annoying. And I took the wrong bus to the store too. So I got dropped off in this random. So I was looking on my maps the whole time and I'm like, where is this bus going? It's not going the right way. But we had a big snowstorm, so I was just assuming that its route changed. But it didn't. I think I just got on the wrong bus. So I got dropped off like 4 blocks in the wrong location. So I had to walk a lot through the snow. It was so tough. Good thing I have my music. So some of these tomatoes are really easy to peel. Some of them are not, but it's not everything in life. Okay. So I'm just picking up these tomato peels. I'm gonna throw them away. They're pretty useless. I wish I had a garden so I could throw these in. Let the plants eat them. I have 1 plant in my apartment. It's not a big deal. It's nice to have a plant though. I like having living things in my apartment. It's to make sure you're not the only living thing, you know. Everything else is inanimate, but me and my plant, we stick it out. Okay. So we have all the tomatoes prepped. I just spilled out all the water, so we're basically starting from 0, except our dough is still rising over there. We're gonna let it rise for a little bit longer, around 20 minutes to let it rise. I don't think it's a big deal to time it perfectly. I think what's important is you let it rise like once or twice. For a minimum 20 minutes. So I've made the dough when you wait a little bit less. It's not as good. You want that gluten to form so you can get those long doughs and it doesn't break apart. So I'm gonna let it rise, and that's totally okay because to reduce your tomato sauce takes a long time. And you're really, we have 8 tomatoes, but we're really not gonna get that much tomato sauce out of it. We may have to add some store-bought tomato sauce. I have a bottle of it, so we may have to add that. I don't think it's a big deal. It's just fun to make it from scratch. So it's gonna take a while, like around 45 minutes. It's perfect. That's why I think it's. I swear I wasn't recording for a second. Oh my god. Okay, I think I am recording though. I really hope I am. Yeah, so let's get started. Here you see I have a pan. It's a little difficult to show, but I have a pan. I'm going to add some olive oil, not too much. Well, it's going to be quite a lot. I'm going to keep this on medium. Okay. Oh! You know what we have to do before this? The olive oil can sit there. We have to grind onion and garlic. Of course, how can we forget that? These are super important. With a simple dish like this, you need onion and garlic. So let's get to it. That's okay too, because while we let the dough rise, it's totally okay to work on other things. Oh my gosh, I only have half an onion left, so we're gonna have to make half an onion do. That kind of sucks. I think onion is really good.
The DJ asked for records, and I hand him the set. Smoking dank in the sketch, crossing threads, it's a mess. Wake up and get this money, get in line for
Put these
success.
tomatoes on a plate since they're not
They
quite
say
ready.
money's just a dream.
And I haven't cut them yet because once you cut them, it gets messy. So it's kind of easier just to keep them whole, and then you can cut them when you're ready. So we're going to use this tool again, really handy dandy. Makes me cry every time. Okay, that makes me cry every time. I'm literally crying right now. So we got half that onion. We got a pretty good haul from it. I think I've been getting a little better. I hear noises outside my window. Always a little scary. Okay, so we have a lot of garlic here. Oops. we're gonna smash all of these. So we're gonna use this setting, kind of a lower setting, so you can see the onions here. We're gonna use this one. You're always going to cut your fingers on one of these grating things. It's inevitable. Okay. Almost done. Couple more. It is a little bit of a workout, but it's all worth it for the dish. Oh, I really cut myself. Ow. Wow, that actually really does hurt. Well, there'll be a little bit of blood on this dish, but it's all red anyways, all those tomatoes. Best thing to do if you cut yourself is just to keep going, but just don't go to the very end like you would normally. It's okay to throw a little bit of the garlic away. It's whatever. Okay, so we have a lot of good garlic paste here. I'm going to keep harvesting this paste. Let's see. And this really is what makes the dish. A lot of this beautiful, beautiful paste, this spices, this is the onion. You see how you can't get this with cutting. it's good with the grater. And you see this garlic? A lot of it, it's really good. It's gonna make your dish smell amazing. So we add a lot of oil because we don't want the garlic to burn. But you also don't add the garlic first. Oh, I'm so dumb. You put it later. So we could have had this going this whole time actually. That's okay. All good. We're gonna... Ooh, I really cut my fingers bad. Ow. I don't know if that's visible. We're gonna cut the tomatoes now. It's gonna get really messy, so it's best to just cut them quickly and throw them in the pan. So I'm cutting the ends of the tomatoes just to get this hard bit off. I know there's a better way of doing it. I probably should have done it better, but this will do for now. And I'm cutting it into little cubes, just small little cubes, because you're gonna want this to boil and reduce to almost a pulp. I keep the seeds in. I'm not too picky with the seeds. You don't really taste them actually in the end. So I'm moving a bit fast now. Just because I can hear the tomatoes boiling or cooking. But I'm not too worried about them burning because I did add a fair amount of oil. But you will want to, if you have some stock on hand, you will want to use that.
And start digging with the rest. The one thing they can't say is that I didn't want it. I woke up in the morning and decided to go harder. My eyes open and I hustle. I open up the shutter, live ready to get on with the fun.
You can see that it's in here cooking. I'm gonna add some vegetable stock to this. So I always have vegetable stock on hand, pretty much ready to go. So here's a little bottle. I don't know why it's bubbly. Smells really good though. Smells like mushrooms. Probably because I made this with a lot of mushrooms last time. So I'll just add the whole thing, actually. So the more water you add, it just means the more you have to reduce. So I add quite a lot of water, but this is fine because I'm going to let it simmer for... I'm going to let this simmer. So it should reduce completely to... And the more it cooks, the more you'll see the tomatoes can be pushed down and pressed. But I like to press them a little bit just to get the process going. And you can press it down later. So I don't know how long it's been, but I'm pretty sure the dough might be ready for another kneading. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a quick cleanup because there's not a lot of counter space. You can see. Oops. So you can see I have quite a lot of counter space. It's kind of messy. Everything's everywhere. So I think I need to do a little bit of cleanup, and then I will start kneading the dough one more time. I'm letting the tomato sauce simmer. It's not doing anything. It's as of right now. So once it starts simmering, you want to keep it at a simmer. There's really no time. I really recommend you just kind of watch it because you want it to get it down to the consistency that you would like. A good way to do that is just to let it simmer and watch it simmer. I thought I found a bug. So I'm just going to let it simmer and watch it simmer, and I'll clean up a little bit of my kitchen in the meantime. Yeah, I'm really excited about finding the EV setting on my camera because I also want to get better at filming these, so. I like to think of jokes I've said in the past and then re-say them in my head and laugh at them. So I can see my tomatoes simmering now. This is good. We don't want it to boil, we just still want it to simmer. Which is funny because wouldn't simmering and boiling be really similar in temperature? I wonder if simmering is because you bring it exactly to a boiling temperature that it boils, but you don't have that excess heat that would cause the air pockets like to boil, you know? I wonder. Because the heat plate on the stove gets up to like 400 degrees or like 300, 200. It's way hotter. You need a lot more heat to heat up a lot of water. Quickly, at least in modern appliances, it'll heat up pretty quickly with a lot of heat, like instantly. So it's like, where does all that heat go? It doesn't just go. I think it's called radial heat. Forget. Okay, so this has been rising. I'm gonna knead it one more time and let it rise while the tomato is simmering. So you have to knead it quite a lot. Oh, I should probably... Let me show my kneading. So you're going to be kneading this a lot. It'll take a lot of work. So I have a little bit of flour on my counter. There's really no technique. You're really just folding it on itself and pushing down and pulling. So you're going to fold on itself. So now it's folded, and then I'm going to push out. And I'll do that again. And you keep doing that. Whew, yeah, this takes a while. I don't know how long it's been, but it's gonna be a while. Maybe I should count it. So it's 8:26. The tomatoes are still simmering. I might have to do this for like 6 more minutes. And then we're going to let it rise one more time. So you can see it's getting a lot more stretchy. I can already feel it's getting a lot more stretchy. I'm really happy with how this dough is coming along. It's been like 5 minutes, so I've got a couple more minutes. We'll do it for 3 more minutes. Oh, this does take work, but we keep pushing. And I think I like the idea of putting a little bit of manual work into my cooking. Although I did go to the gym today, very proud of myself. But this is really making those sores feel sorer. Not in a bad way. So we're still continuing to just flip it 180 degrees and fold it over itself and push out. Oh, okay. I feel like it's pretty good right now. I'm not gonna really... It's got a lot of bounce to it, a lot of spring, so that's good. I think. Not really sure. Like I said, I don't really have a recipe for this. I kind of just eyeball everything. So... we're gonna put it here and let it proof a little bit more. So because I put in this vegetable broth in, nothing's really burning, nothing's really sticking. The tomatoes are really becoming super soft and breakable. I can press down on them and they're breaking. You can see how it's a little bit of simmer. I might turn it down a bit, but it's just coming along really nicely. So we're gonna let this go for another 30. So I'm going to let this simmer for another 30 minutes. It's going really nicely. You might be able to hear it, actually. So it's 8:34. So I think I'm going to check around right around 9 p.m. I'm going to do some other stuff around the apartment. Check around 9 p.m. See how the tomatoes are doing. They should be simmering. In the meantime, those 30 minutes, that dough is also proofing. So now you have a dough that will be super luscious and amazing while you are also cooking your pasta sauce. I think I will add tofu. Yeah. Let's add some tofu. We can prepare the tofu. I'll show you how I do that. So you're gonna get your pack of tofu. Mine is still good till February 6th. So I have a little bit of time left on it. It's super simple. I don't really do a lot of the fancy stuff. I'm just gonna crumble it by hand into a bowl and then throw it in and then let it just, that's pretty much my plan. Super simple. So I'm just cutting it. I'm just squeezing the tofu, trying to get all the water out of it. It kind of works, not really that well. I really do find it's just best to put tofu in watery dishes so you can just avoid the whole like tofu's never dry problem, because it's true, I never really get it dry. It's just better to throw it in with some pasta and it'll be moist anyways. So we're going to throw this tofu into a bowl. So I'm going to have this on standby, and we'll be back in about 30 minutes. Just going to clean. Okay. Okay, so I pretty much cleaned a little bit. Everything's pretty much where I want it to be. I'm going to let this continue simmering. It's kind of going crazy, so I'm going to turn it down a bit. And you don't want anything to burn, so it is nice to stir it occasionally. And keep mashing, you know? Keep mashing. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to stand here. Mash. You can't forget the mashing part. And there's a lot of acid in here, so it's always nice to have sugar. Sugar on hand somewhere. So I'm going to throw that in too. I don't know really what the sugar does, but I know it does something that's like good. So we're going to stick with it. Oh, the camera's still on. Oh my god. I get into my thought. I like to like think. I'm thinking about good thoughts too. Okay, so still mashing, just mashing and mashing. It's going pretty well though. I can't say it's not super steamy. Yeah, and you just stand here and mash. Still going. Okay, so I'm going to quit on mashing for now because I'm lazy. I'm going to turn it down a bit more because it's really simmering. It's really going hard. and I'll be right back. We'll be back after, once it's done simmering, in about 20 minutes. You can really just go around and do other things around your apartment if you have anything to do. So that's gonna be what I do. Okay, we're back. It's 8:55. It's a little sooner than 9. It's a little sooner than 9 because this is really going. I mean, my windows are fogging. This is how much steam it's releasing. So we're really reducing this to a pulp. I'll show you. You can really see how much it's reduced. I mean, it's really a lot smaller. We're gonna keep reducing it. In the meantime, we're gonna check on the pasta dough. It's been about 20 minutes, so it's not really quite 30 minutes. We'll see how it is. This pasta dough is looking great. I mean, look at it. It's just perfect. So I'm going to boil this water. In the meantime, I'm going to throw in the garlic and onion now, and the sugar, into the dough. I mean, into the tomato paste. It's getting so foggy, even my floors are like becoming slippery. This is a lot of steam releasing. So I only have brown sugar. That's what I'll use. Okay, we got some sugar. I have to always grind it. It's a big hassle. So I'm just putting a big spoonful of sugar in here. It just adds flavor. Some sugar. Makes it a little sweet. I think it cuts through the acidity, you know? I think that's what it does. So we'll let this water boil. And now I'll add the tomato and onion paste. I mean the garlic and onion. This is going to make this smell amazing. Yum, this is just smelling incredible. I mean, I really hope you're cooking along so you can smell what I'm smelling. It's really the garlic and the onion that really make a lot of this dish shine. And putting them into a paste, you avoid the bitterness and the texture of them. In case you don't like the texture, like I'm not a big fan of onion and garlic texture, especially big chunks of it. I'm not a big fan. So putting it into a paste is really perfect. And a whole clove of garlic is just the perfect amount too. So you can see, this smells incredible, oh my god. You can see how thick it's gotten. It's gotten really thick. You're not really seeing any bubbles anymore. And when I run my spoon across, it just stays open. So this is how I know it's going really well. So we'll keep it up. Creating my pasta. Now, creating pasta is not difficult. There's a little bit of certain rules that you need to follow, but it's really simple. I'll show you. We'll be starting off the pasta by throwing some flour onto the surface to avoid sticking. Okay, and now we'll just start We'll start flattening this pasta now. So I have a rolling pin. I'm going to throw some flour over it. Oh, this pasta is not rolling out easily. I had the heat on low. Like, what was I thinking? Okay, so my pasta sauce is now sticking to the bottom. That's how I know it's pretty much done. I should not be doing anything more to it. I'm still rolling out the dough. It's taking a little bit to roll out. So I'm taking off this sauce off the heat. You can see how much it reduced. This was 8 tomatoes. Now, and a whole jar of broth. Now it's reduced to this, and this is exactly what you're looking for, some kind of pulpy consistency. It smells really good too. So we'll keep working on this. I'm just checking the thickness level every once in a while. You want them to be pretty thin, so you're gonna really want to stretch this out. Because you're really hoping that the gluten you formed holds it together and you can make it thin. Okay, so I think this is thin enough. Next step is we're going to fold it and then cut it. So I'm cutting it into these, I rolled it up like a burrito and I'm cutting it into these really thin strings. So I've just cut all the pasta. It's in these little strings now, which is perfect. You can see we have a nice bowl of pasta now. So we're gonna let for this water to boil, and then we're gonna be able to put it in. The water's already, I see bubbles already forming in this water. So, and then we're gonna only cook it for about 6 minutes. We're only gonna cook the pasta for about 6 minutes. That's because we really don't need to cook it more than that. It's gonna cook the rest with the rest of the pasta sauce, so we'll be fine. So I'm gonna let for this water to boil, and then we'll throw in the tofu. In the meat, yeah, so for the tofu, I know right now it's just plain tofu. One thing to do with this is to add spices. So like soy sauce is a great option. I'm gonna throw a little bit of that. And adobo seasoning. I'm not sure if y'all are hip to it, but adobo seasoning is really good. Although it's very strong, so use sparingly. I'll throw a bit of onion powder in there too. And of course we're not measuring any of this, so it's just all going into a bowl. Yeah, this is good. Yep, that's some good tofu. You could actually just eat that straight up. That's like a meal in itself. It's just tofu, soy sauce, and adobo powder. It's really good. But that's not a quick cook's meal. That's all you have is tofu type meal. So maybe if this was only tofu, it might work then. But we're a little bit better than that at Quick Cooks. We add some pasta and some pasta sauce to it. Okay, so I'll show you. The tofu's looking really good. It's got a little bit of color. It's not too much. Nothing too fancy. Like I said, it's just gonna go into the sauce, and that's it. The water is boiling now, so it's time for me to salt it. Salt the water. Water has been salted. And it's almost about to boil. So we'll be home free soon. Okay, so it's boiling now. This is good. I'm gonna drop the pasta in. Okay. And you want to stir it, put a timer on for like 6 minutes. I put a timer on for 6 minutes, that might have been loud. I can fix that in post. But you just want to keep stirring so that you don't let the pasta stick. And you'll feel it. It's feeling really good. The pasta's really coming along nicely. Getting some shape. I'll stop touching it. Let it cook. I'm getting really hungry, so super excited for this food. I think it's a really good simple meal. I think it's something you can really cook quickly, and there's not a lot of thinking. You know, it's really simple. It's a quick cook. Just a really good hearty meal. And this isn't all it can be. It doesn't just have to be pasta sauce, pasta, and tofu. It can be a lot of things. If you have some sausage, you can throw it in there. Chicken, some other vegetables, leeks, carrots, anything. I've made this with so many things. It's just such a good base. This is the first time I'm actually doing it with tofu. Usually I do it with TVP or just on its own, or other vegetables. I like to throw in carrots and potatoes a lot in there. Sometimes just pasta and potato is really good. So sometimes you can skip the pasta sauce altogether. And you want to keep a little jar of pasta sauce near you in your fridge, just in case the tomatoes you bought are not enough. So I'll show you. It's cooking right now. That's all it is. It looks a little weird. It looks not like your normal, because I think because there's so much starch in naturally made pasta that it's just really starchy. So
I smoke now, put a drink down, wake up in the morning and
sorry,
do
just
it
had to fix
all
my
out,
camera.
all out.
The camera
If
setup
you
has
ain't
been
about
fixed.
now, what
My camera does not hold its position really well, so that's super annoying. It's pretty much not a good camera, so I should just get a new one. So we have 2 minutes left on this pasta. It's still going well. You don't really have to do much. You just gotta sit there and watch it. I'm gonna start warming up the pasta sauce on low temp because you still want it to be a bit warm. It's looking really good though. It's lost a lot of its red color. You can add you know, tomato paste if you want to give it a little bit more tomato flavor. I think this is fine. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil because I like olive oil. I used a lot on this recipe, unfortunately, but olive oil is really good, so you should use it. Or you could use real butter. Sometimes I use just real butter. Whatever is closer, usually olive oil. So here we're just maintaining, we're just stirring. I'm just standing over my stove, stirring here, looking there, just making sure everything's simmering. Because once the pasta dough is ready, then you just throw it in there and you're done. So that's the great thing. It all really comes down together quickly. I'm gonna throw the tofu in to heat it up as well. You can see how it's not really saucy anymore. So I have some fuego, chunky. I'm gonna throw it in there, make it a little bit more nice. A little bit more tomatoey. It has a much more deeper red color. I can't tell if that's my tomatoes or what's going on there. Okay, that was the pasta timer, and it's done. So this pasta will be done. Ideally, you would have saved that pasta sauce and you would have used both, but that didn't work out here. I mean, you would save that starchy water from the pasta and use that in your sauce to thicken it up, but that I didn't really do that here. I don't think it's necessary either. You can see how beautiful that's really coming out. And that's pretty much you have it. That's all it really is. Now I'm gonna let it warm up a bit because I think the tofu was a bit cold. So I'm gonna let it warm it up, and then I'll give it a try and let you know how it tastes. So, I just plated myself a plate. Look how beautiful that looks. I'm super excited to try it out. Let's try it out. It's got a really squishy sound to it. I think there's a lot of liquids in here. That is fantastic. That is really good. I did put way too much garlic though, unfortunately. It is really garlicky. I think that was too much garlic. I would do less next time. Maybe not a whole bulb of garlic, but maybe like half. But I'm not really complaining. I really like garlic, and I think it adds a lot of flavor to this. I think it tastes really good. It's really, really savory. I mean, you can't really just compare it to just making boxed pasta with bottled pasta sauce, because it is a completely different taste. It's really good. I mean, I think the main difference is the tomato paste pasta. The tomato pasta sauce is lighter. It's not as strong as the ones in the store-bought, which I kind of like. I like the way homemade pasta. And then if you only add a little bit, it doesn't really take away anything. Like if you add a little bit of pasta sauce from a bottle, store-bought, it doesn't take anything away. So you just add a little bit and you can still, it's still a light flavor. It doesn't really overpower you with the store-bought pasta sauce. And you can add your own ingredients, like the garlic now. So now it's really garlic heavy. Take that with how you want. I think it's really good. I really like garlic. I really like the onion. I think I really like the simplicity. The tofu is really, you don't really taste the tofu too strong, but you know it's there because you can taste it. And it's like flavors. So it's salted really well. I might salt it a bit more. But thank you so much for joining me on Quick Cooks. I'm your host, Norman. And I hope you try this simple, quick, and easy pasta from scratch, homemade. Thank you. I'll see you next time on Quick Cooks.
On about, wake the fuck up and put the shot down. I smoke now, put a drink down. Wake up in the morning and do it all out, all out. If you ain't about now, what you want about? Wake the fuck up and put the shot down.